Commanders, let's speak to Dietitian Kodi Thokoane, who's joining us tonight on News at Prime. A very good evening to you. Thank you for your time. So, as someone who works in the food industry, we're hearing at this stage the suspicion is that these children died after eating perhaps biscuits that may have been poisoned. Is there anything in such a product that could potentially lead to such a severe, in fact a deadly outcome?
Good evening to everyone, and my condolences to the affected families. I would also like to wish a speedy recovery to the children that are still in the hospital. Our spaza shops, most of them get products that are already ready to be sold. So these biscuits might have been procured, baked, and packaged already. I think the main question is, how do they source their products? Because if a place where they source products keeps poisons, maybe to kill rats or cockroaches, there might be a relationship between poisons that might have escaped into the preparatory dough of the biscuits. And because they are sourcing their products from not so regulated places, where there's no inspection of the premises, it might just be that maybe a rat fell in the dough and the worker just removed the rat. But the poison from the rat's mouth remained in the dough. So it might not be poison from the spaza shop directly, but from the manufacturing business, which is not regulated.
But of course, even at spaza shop level, there is an issue, has always been an issue, in fact, around quality control, right? Because we now have to wonder how the products were stored, or if it is indeed the biscuits that had an issue, where were they kept in the spaza, how long had they been there, and does anyone actually routinely check that what is there is still safe for consumption?
The level of quality product and food safety basically lies in the manufacturing premises. So you would not go to a spaza to check the production, but you can only go there to check the working space and how food is being packaged. But you cannot do any quality control in terms of the food product that is there. We have a profession of people called food and safety and health officers. And those are the people who do the ongoing regular checkups on manufacturing premises. And at the spaza shops, they only go to check whether they are selling within the legal specifications, but not to do quality controls. So there's a lot of freedom for spaza shop owners to take anything and sell, where you'll find polish being next to magwinya or jig being next to bread. But that does not mean necessarily that the jig will mix with the bread. Therefore, our main investigation should lie at where do these products that they are selling, where are they sourcing them from, and what is the standard of hygiene, standard of safety of those premises.
And would that be easy to trace, considering that you were saying earlier that some of the products you find at spaza shop level, for example, are not sourced from the most regulated places to begin with? I mean, I remember growing up, there were biscuits that came in a pack with branding that was in fact in a foreign language. They came in a big packet that you wouldn't see anywhere else other than a spaza shop in a township.
That's why we talk of food labeling being very important, because when you label your food and finally you put a barcode, that gives us accessibility rights. So, and traceability options. So you're not able to trace this, like if they buy a bucket of biscuits and it came maybe having 50 biscuits in them, and the spaza shop owner then opened them and started selling them individually. You would not know whether the cross-contamination came from the lacing of the bucket in the spaza shop, or did the biscuits themselves come being laced with the poison. And the other thing is that some people will just be having things like doom, and they want to doom these insects, and then you've got open biscuits there, a big pack of Zimba chips that's open that the kids come and they tie it. So the lines of contamination and the gaps and the holes that are presented in this case are very big. But I believe that the government, through its regulatory arms, is the one that is able to intervene more and go to the root cause of this, because there are departments that have been set aside in particular to guard against such a happening.
Are they failing to do that?
The spaza shop industry is huge. I think at every street you'll probably find a spaza shop, and the amount of health and safety officers we have are limited. The resources to travel are limited. But I also believe that the community has a role to play as well, because you can see that, somebody told me about the Fanta orange, that the Fanta orange from these spaza shops is not like the Fanta orange from ShopRite or Pick n Pay. And therefore, when they are sourcing their products, they are using not so recommended food dyes, food additives, because they want the product that they are selling to be similar to the one you'd expect from a big wholesale. Therefore, maybe we might need more work towards spaza shop policing.
So where does that leave parents in the interim? And by the way, we must caveat this conversation by saying that at this stage, it is a suspicion that the children died as a result of something that had to do with biscuits or food that they bought from this particular spaza. Investigations are underway, but it's opened up a conversation around food safety. So with that in mind, when you consider how the whole industry works, right, especially in a township setting where many of us grew up, whatever age you were able to go to the spaza shop with the coins that you had to buy a snack. Parents want to buy food for their children, a snack, whatever. How do they go about this, given what you're saying, a vulnerable system to contamination of food?
Firstly, our communities need to be taught the importance of food labeling, because food labeling means, one, that the product you are buying is of a high quality, it has been regulated, and is continuously being developed and regulated. Because I know that there are spaza shops that now sell bread from bakeries we don't know, and we don't know the level of sugar, fat, and the additives that we need for the bread to be healthy. They are selling biscuits that might be done with trans fatty acids, which we know they contribute more to cardiovascular diseases. So our communities need to know that do not say I'm buying cheap when you're buying food, because you might pay more in the long run in terms of health challenges that low quality food poses. But also low quality food means that they are taking shortcuts in recipes, and they are using additives that should be used within a limited amount. They are overusing them in those products. So I think we need to do a much more wide campaign of teaching people that whatever you buy must be packaged and you must have a barcode. And then the government should come in now and send the health and safety officers for regular and continuous monitoring.
Kodi Thokoane, good to speak to you, dietitian, speaking to us on food safety while investigations continue into suspicions that 2 children have sadly died after eating biscuits from a local spaza shop in the Soweto area. This happening on Sunday.